Scruffy Audio Network.
Hey, thanks, program director. Hey, we're finally doing this on a Friday. Let's see, these two guests are kind of different. I think they're my first official MMA couple. And as usual, the Wood Gym has type A personality guys coming through, and gals. You people want to get better, people seeking out to be the best. It's not a normal place, but I don't think anybody is normal or abnormal. So can you guys introduce yourself, and I'll go with the lovely lady with the sunglasses and all tatted up. And she brought her dog. What's your dog's name, first of all?
My dog's name is Storm.
Storm. How'd you get that name?
From X-Men. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I forget. She's like a serious gamer. I follow her on Instagram.
I'm a nerd.
She's like, yeah. See, we have another nerd in the house. Two nerds. Okay. So, again, name, where you're from.
My name is Shamir Peshewa, and
Can you say that?
Shamir Peshewa.
Wow.
And I'm from Strawberry Plains, Tennessee.
Right.
Sort of.
Yes, we'll get into that. You, sir?
I'm Caleb Miller. I'm originally from Hamilton, Ohio, but I grew up in Pigeon Forge, and now I live in Knoxville.
Awesome. All right. Okay. So I always open up a question with all. I don't know if you guys listen to any of my podcasts. None. Okay. Good job, Caleb. That's great. We're also going to get into why you missed your workout yesterday.
Okay.
That's another thing. Okay. You're going to be punished. 3 spankings over my knee here in a minute. All right. So the question I always ask, and I'll start with the lady, is when did you know that you were different? And not different because I think I know a little of your upbringing. We'll get into that. But different as in why you guys came to train with me as MMA fighting. When did you know that you wanted to do something that was that different? You know, because I don't think somebody is like, hey, I think I want to be an MMA fighter. Or Chewy, the guy out in the gym now, Dr. James Chew, who's my first podcast guest, is how did you know you wanted to climb all the 7 peaks in the world? So how did you know that you wanted to become an MMA fighter?
When I was younger, I got in trouble for fighting quite a bit when I was a teenager, and it was always such a negative thing. And I just looked at it like I didn't want somebody to push me around or be rude to me for no reason. So I would always just stand up for myself as a teenager, and that led to fist fights, juvenile court, things like that are usually more negative. And as I got older, I knew that I had to find some way to find an outlet for being aggressive, being more of a type A person, just being more aggressive and especially being female. They want you to sit down and be quiet. And that's not me. So I was 21 and I decided to play rugby. I was like, well, I'll go play rugby. I've never played a sport. So I was like, I'll go play rugby. You get to hit people. So that looks pretty cool. So I went, and the second practice, I blew one of the girls' knees out with a tackle. And they told me I couldn't come back. That was the under 24 league in Knoxville at the time. And I was like, all right. And one of the girls suggested roller derby. And I was like, well, I can't skate. So I taught myself how to skate, started playing roller derby, and the adrenaline, there's nothing like it.
Where in the hell is there roller derby?
Here in Knoxville, it's called the Hard Knocks Roller Girls. I played for them for 7 years.
So I could go watch roller derby on what nights? What is it?
Saturday nights. Yeah, there's a season. They're in season right now. They play at the old Coliseum underneath the Holiday Inn. And one of my best friends still plays. And we used to just wreck people. She'd stall them and I'd just ram into them. I mean,
so it's real like roller derby, like back in the 50s.
Except it's not scripted. So it's like hockey.
Oh, it's not
hockey
scripted.
Now. Yeah.
That's right. It was scripted.
It was.
Back. Do you remember any of that? No.
You would know, this girl's going to hit you on turn 3, and you're going to bust a blood capsule.
I remember they do a whiplash or whatever it's called, and sling somebody through with a slingshot. You really did that?
Yeah. One of my best friends, her derby name is Barbara Bushwhacker. We all call her Bush. She's just fucking burly. She'll just kill you. And she would just throw me into them because I was about 135, 140 pounds at the time. And she would just, because I couldn't skate that good. Because my first year, I was like still learning how to skate. And she would just launch me into people. I'm like, cool, dude. I'm like, this will work.
So you went from rugby to roller derby.
Yeah. And I never played, I only did 2 practices with rugby. But I just loved being hit and hitting people. And most people think that's really weird. I really like it.
And you've always been like that.
Yeah. So I wanted to do MMA since I was like a little kid. And the first time I saw MMA, I was like, oh, I want to do that. But there was no girls. The first girls that I ever saw fight, I was like, okay, they're out there. Let's fight them, like, let's go fight them. But it doesn't work that way. So it took me a while to find a gym. And finally I found Knoxville Martial Arts Academy where I train now. And
what year was that?
It was November 2012.
How old were you when you started that?
28.
Now, was that late in the game for that sport or no?
It depends on how healthy you are. I was an endurance runner. The longest race that I ever raced was 50 miles. So it was a trail run. So I felt like I was in really good shape anyway. So when I got there, I didn't have a lot. A lot of times you have about 10 to 12 years in MMA.
Right.
But most people start at like 18. So 28 would be old if you'd been doing it for 10 years. But I hadn't been doing it. I had never any formal training. So I was like, all right, well, let's see how this goes. And at first I was like, well, I'll just cross train. At least you get to hit people in the gym. Like your friends on a Friday night, you all hang out and punch each other and choke each other out. And that's my kind of party. So.
And how old are you now?
33. I'll be 34.
So are you considered fresh? Like your body hasn't been beaten up too much?
I don't know. Some days I feel fresh, some days I don't. But I know that my coach thinks that I can do anything in the sport. Most of the women who are in the UFC that are at the top of their games are 36, 37. They are older. MMA is one of those sports where as long as you are taking care of yourself, you can still compete. They can say things about younger fighters being faster, but they're also more mature. There's trade-offs, I think,
right.
With any sport. But, as long as my coach thinks we can keep going, that's where my mind's set. I think even if he thought we couldn't keep going, I'd still want to keep going.
And how did you meet this lovely, good-looking man?
I met him at the gym, actually.
At the MMA or a training
at MMA. Gym? So he started, and I was like, we just became best friends somehow. I mean, it was just every day we would hang out.
Did you notice her, whooping someone's ass in there and said, oh my God, that's my love?
No, not really. Really, like,
how did you find your way to the gym? Because I know your history, you're a baseball player, and then all of a sudden, that's weird for a baseball player to go into fighting.
So, really, it was just being picked on so much when I was younger. I'm different than a lot of people.
That's interesting.
I still like doing outside stuff, like, I like playing ball in the backyard, like just playing catch. I like going fishing. I like going hunting. I really like video games, too. So, like, growing up, especially around here, people who play video games are like, oh, this guy's just weird.
Right.
And people can say whatever they want. I feel like it helps me in life. Like, you have your own world, I have my own. So it's like, if I can not be in trouble, if I can not be doing the things that you're doing and
you're gaming,
stay on.
But you have a good balance. You're not you're a physical guy.
I want to be successful. Gamer. So it's like,
it's just one of your tools for the day.
If I can still do what I'm supposed to do and then have time to do things that I want to do, I feel like mentally I'm in a good place, especially when it comes to competing. Because if I'm so like focused on this is the fight, like, oh, I have to fight this guy, or, oh yeah, I get to fight this guy. And it's just all that my mind thinks of. By the time it gets there, I'm tired, like mentally and physically, because it's all I've been thinking about. So
the gaming helps that.
Yeah, it kind of takes my mind off things. I feel like.
Do you guys drink?
No, not really.
No,
I drink.
I
Outside.
I did a little.
This is a confessional.
I think everyone knows it.
Yeah.
It's a secret.
It's not an uncommon thing.
Well, I mean, but it seems like you're like, hey, people do this to shut up. I work with a lot of the pro athletes. A lot of them live with me, and all of them are gamers, but there's also a balance. And I think I'm not a gamer, but I think that gaming gets a bad rap because it's like, oh, that's all this kid did, and it was an addiction. He didn't do anything.
My MMA coach, he thinks it's a good thing because the games I play are like they're like strategically like played games. So
it keeps a balance. I mean, I go and have drinks at night to chill out. You guys game, or when you wake up, I'm having 16 cups of coffee. You guys.
I have 16 cups of
coffee.
She does. Game and drink.
She does.
All I need to do is hang out with Shamir and game, and I'm just like her.
Yeah, you have a good time. I've told my nutritionist, if you could give me something that relaxes my body like a beer, then I would take it.
Yeah,
but there isn't.
Same.
Sometimes
Give me a pill to chill
week,
me out, but not like it's anything that's addictive or whatever.
Right.
Just a feeling of turning off our brains. Because I think I really do think everybody in here, their brain doesn't stop. I mean, you've worked with enough people in here where everybody, especially the adults. I mean, I know the high school kids are in here a different level of not stopping, but all the adults are getting in here at 6, 5, 7, whatever, and they keep churning. All right, so you walk in and go, that's my bitch.
At the time, it was just she was literally like,
that's who I want to be.
My
with.
best friend.
Right.
So,
but how'd you meet? I mean, did you walk up and go, hey, can you put me in a pretzel hold?
No. The first day that I met Shamir, it was pretty normal. There's like a process people go through to like sign up and everything. And, I went through this whole process and then I just stayed and like talked to her. And I guess a lot of people don't stay that extra like 5 or 10 minutes and like talk to her. So it's like, I kind of told her where I'm coming from, why I was there. I was there because I wanted to learn how to defend myself. Like I'm tired of people picking on me. I'm tired of getting beat up.
I love these stories. Honestly, program director.
Yes.
The stories of you have one way and then one the other way.
Yeah.
Is one wanted to kick everyone's ass and one was getting their ass kicked. But then they still found the common denominator of I need to use this aggression and maybe get my ass kicked and feel that. And that's also a win.
It's
also.
humbling.
Yeah. I mean, you learn more from a loss. And, the three of us, the four of us, I'd say we've been in our issues or rounds of fights. And the ones you could always tell if somebody's never had their ass kicked. They come in a little bit more arrogant and cocky, not confident, not, I got it, but more like you haven't had your ass kicked yet.
Yeah.
Just get one good ass kick. And it's not going to be for me, but you'll get one. And then you'll be like, I always say on a parade float when they come in, hey, everybody, hi, how's everybody? Can I get you something? I just got my ass kicked. Yeah. So that's kind of cool that you're humbled enough to go, I'm tired of getting picked on. I want to start fighting. And then you guys hooked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I trained him we were friends. Like a year and a half.
We had known each other for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Before anything happened.
Yeah.
And
what's anything happening?
I mean,
just becoming like, wow, I might have more feelings for it than just friends.
Well, I mean, we had hung out outside of like practice and stuff like that, but never hugged each other, kissed each other. Yeah. Like we would just hang out, like
game together.
Sometimes.
Do you guys, okay, I know this is I'm going straight nerd on you. I'm taking the express lane to nerd. These things are high, by the way, because I could talk here and it's still this. Actually, I got to talk here better than out here. So let's get that adjusted for the next thing.
Okay, well, you adjusted it, but sure.
No, I didn't adjust it. It's loud.
And I think Shamir, we'll both say yes.
We could hear you there. But back here, I could sound the same, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, express train to being that nerdy is, have you guys gamed with your headphones on back and forth? Because I watch that all the time up in my bonus room. Like you're playing with people all the time, correct?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Do you guys do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's at his place, you're at your place?
Well, he plays on the PC. I play on Xbox. So you can't really cross-platform.
Right now, there's like supposed to be a lot of things that are becoming cross-platform.
Right. What's your favorite game?
My favorite game?
Your favorite game.
Overall?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's tough.
I mean, are you a Fortnite guy?
I play a little bit. I liked it when it first came out before
FIFA.
I don't know.
Is FIFA more sports? Because I know
I don't know that much about
that.
soccer. Like I like Madden and I like NBA games because I actually know football and I know baseball.
Gotcha.
I don't know that much about soccer. If somebody took the time to teach me about soccer,
you could pick it up.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. All right. Favorite game?
Probably a role-playing game. It's called Final Fantasy VII. That goes back pretty far. They're actually remaking it. I'm pretty excited about it. It'll probably take me a year to get through.
We got a nerd alert because she went way over. Nerd alert, we got way over my head. And for some reason, I'm surrounded. It's a lot of nerds going on. I feel like the movie.
Taking over.
So because your posts are so funny, they're so cute because you're like this and you have your headphones on. She's like, screw it, I'm just owning it. I'm taking my picture with my headphones.
There's people who watch me play video games on Twitch, so it's kind of weird. So I do that to interact with them. Like, hey, I'm gonna be on right now. So they'll log on too and be like, hey, what's up? Like,
well, in your community of MMA fighting, are there a lot of gamers, or are you?
Yeah.
Really?
Even like UFC and Bellator and stuff. Like, there's a lot of people who game.
Yeah, actually one of the most famous, he's in ONE FC now, but he fought for the UFC. He's one of the most famous, like, 125ers, held the belt longer than anybody else. He has a pretty big following on Twitch, which is where people, like, stream their games. And I had actually saw him first. That was the first, like, fighter I saw do it. And then I started looking for more people, and there's so many people that actually do it.
That's a whole other world.
It's just getting discovered. It's like somebody figuring out, hey, this person fights and they play games too. It's all about what you're interested in.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure it's the same audience for people who watch Sports Center too. It's like, well, I never knew that this guy liked sports as much as I did. If you actually listen to the analysts, like some of them know what they're talking about, and then some of them are just there for a personality.
So the balance sounds like, because your schedule sounds like my schedule's really busy. Like you run your business, you do your MMA, you're training, you're going somewhere else to train, you have a relationship, and you also have...
Most of it's just our gym. Like when the only other place we're at is our actual MMA gym.
And you stay there for all your other training?
That's where, that's where
my business is.
A lot of our time, that's where we're at, is at our MMA gym.
Yeah, that's...
All right, so take the viewers and listeners through a typical day of an MMA couple's day, because I think it's cute when you guys come in and train. Most of the time, you guys come in together. You got your puppy Storm,
yeah,
right, which is so disciplined. I might have her come over and help me with Kona. She puts the little bed in the corner and sits there and she talks about the alpha of like, oh no.
I like to train animals, humans or dogs. Yeah. It doesn't really matter.
We can tell you've done a good job with C. It's good.
He's the boss of it.
Yeah,
he tries to play it off on me, but
I know.
he's the boss.
Everybody's like, that couple is she's the alpha in that couple, and I'm like, I don't know.
He likes to just pretend like I run the show. He just
keep to myself. Whenever I'm here, I like to work out. Yeah. You know what I mean? I like to get shit done.
And I never noticed that because I'm just watching you guys train. So I'm not watching the mannerisms of who's the alpha dog.
What?
So how many hours do you put into MMA? Do you go, is it like every day?
Every day.
Yeah.
There's every day that you're grappling.
Yeah, there is there really is no off day. Like even like the mental work is like a day in itself. You know what I mean? Like if I don't grapple or spar or do something Saturday, I'm probably doing mental work because I'm not going anywhere if I'm not working on something. So if I'm not meditating, if I'm not visualizing, we have like a list of things that we go over. There's like 7 or 8 different categories, and it's like the things you need to prepare before a fight. And it's like being mentally relaxed, physically calm, like energized.
Because I heard
and it's on a scale.
You guys have to practice like breathing and all that, especially when you're like watching. I don't know if you've ever gotten into watching some of that stuff, but when you watch them and they're on their back, you think that person's losing, but that person's winning. They got to be controlled their breathing. Yeah, you can't get flexed up.
Well, imagine going for 15 minutes straight, pretty much. You have a 30-second break somewhere in there, but it's like I'm going for 15 minutes about as hard as I can go. There's no like off time in the fight.
Right.
You know, like you said a couple weeks ago, like you don't have time to get ready for a bar fight.
Right.
I don't have time to get ready for a fight in the cage either. Like
Got it.
I have to be ready from the moment they say, "Are you ready to fight?" And if I'm not ready, that other person is probably running me over. So it's like I have to go 1,000% from the time that I know I have a fight.
So there's no rest. There's really no rest when they take their breaks.
No,
you sit
They're
down
longer rounds than boxing, though, aren't they?
Five-
Or
yeah,
they're
5-minute rounds,
we're
right?
5-minute rounds. Yeah,
for professional, 3 minutes for amateur. But like when you sit on the stool,
Yeah.
I'll just take you through it. For the last 3 to 5 minutes, you've done whatever, got your ass kicked some ass, traded out, been on the ground, been standing. I mean, whatever has gone on, and you sit on this stool, and someone puts like some ice on you, and Eric's just telling you,
yeah.
the coach is just telling you, here's what you're gonna do. You keep running into her right hand. You keep doing this. You take the head kick, you know, it's there all day. So when you go back in, I'm not thinking about like, oh, I get to breathe. I'm thinking about like, all right, head kick's there. Let's set it up. I'm thinking about what he just told me to do. Conversations are different, I guess, for everyone on the stool, but I'm just like, yes, sir. Cause sometimes I say it to you, I'll just say, okay.
Mhm.
And then I'll ask you to watch. Like if that's what you wanted me to do.
I think it's it's a twofold. Thank you. I think it's cute, and I like that she always wants to be coached.
Because
she reminds
than
me
you know?
of the Chad Penningtons, the Todd Heltons, and the Harrison Smiths. I'll just add, those three come to mind a lot, especially a Chad and a Todd. Is they would not want anything that had to be complex or a lot moving parts to it, an exercise, without me standing there and watching at least the first set or the first rep, and then they knew I could move around. But they weren't that mediocre athlete or below average athlete. It's like, I got it. Like, I don't need you to watch me or even ask questions. And those you watch, always have a problem hanging on to a team to where you're always coachable. You're always like, that's the cutest thing, you do it also. But for the women to come, because we studied that in our certifications, women love to have precise technique over the weights, and the guys are the opposite. They're sloppier. They don't think they need the advice, and they just want to move the weight. Where women are like, I don't want to do anything wrong with, and it's amazing how fast women pick up technique to guys.
We see that in MMA too.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you ever want to come roll one day,
I think I do. I honestly think I'd love for my program director to get out there too. I'm serious, like just to roll around for a minute, because I've boxed before and wrestled in Jersey.
If there's
and all
people
that
who
jazz.
have wrestled here before, if they want to come by, a lot of people.
I'm not looking to get my ass kicked. I don't want to break the.
That's not the point of it.
The form.
Yeah.
What's that one called?
Armbar.
Yeah. I don't want an armbar.
So the craziest thing to me is there's a guy who he probably is 4 inches shorter than me and walks around maybe like 30 pounds less than I do.
What's your weight?
I weigh about 168, 170. Like
and your height?
Just walking around. I'm 6 foot.
Yeah. So you're long 6 foot.
Yeah.
He's got long. He looks like an MMA fighter.
He looks taller than what he actually is.
Like, you got some guys that look.
Length.
Yep. Okay.
So this guy, like I said, probably like 4 or 5 inches shorter than me. He's probably like 5'8" ish, I would say. Literally just beats me everywhere. It's like people who think that they can fight would be like, well, this guy's gonna win because he's bigger. Dre, his name is Dre. He just has better technique than everybody at the gym. He doesn't.
What's his background?
Physically,
was he a wrestler?
He was a football player.
He's a football player.
He has one eye too.
He lost an eye.
He lost an eye in a car
wreck.
accident when he was 16.
One eye Dre.
Yeah, he could be.
He's
he
like
could be
fucking
one
Daredevil.
of the best in the world right now, man. Like,
He's just a natural. He just picks it up.
no, he's a hard worker.
Yeah.
I don't believe in like natural talent or
Right.
athleticism. Like,
You
you have to work to get there.
Yeah.
You may have been born with some attribute better
Right.
at something than me,
Right.
but in the grand scheme of things, we can all be just as good at everything.
Okay.
It's all about figuring out how you do it for your body.
Right.
That's why I like MMA, because number one, my coach can tell me how to do things specifically for my body. So it's like, I'm not going to fight like a boxer. I'm not going to fight in the pocket because I have long arms. If I fight in the pocket, I'm probably getting knocked out.
So what's your best attribute? On the ground?
I'm good anywhere. Like, if you want to stand, we'll stand. People say they want to stand with me, and then they get hit 2 times and they want to wrestle me.
Yeah, you're so long.
But I hit hard,
he
too.
hits hard. So he had a shoulder injury pretty early on into his training. He had one fight, and he hurt his shoulder, and so he only had one arm for a while. Like, he had surgery on it. So he only
but
had
I still
one.
trained every day.
Yeah, he would still show up, and he'd be like, just let me do whatever else.
I was in this stupid-ass sling that I couldn't take this thing off. I had to wear it everywhere. I had to cover it up in the shower. Like, was not allowed out of this thing for months. So I'm like here with this sling on, and I'm like, I have to do something because I hate just being stagnant. So I like come to the gym and I'm like, please, I have to do something. So the Bosu ball you have in there, we would take it and flip it over on like the bouncy side, and I would stand on top of that with we would do like fighter stances. So I'd have like my staggered stance
In the sling.
In the sling, yeah.
On the Bosu.
And I would either be doing like slow technique of kicks. So just like imagine doing a pistol squat, just like incredibly slow on top of a Bosu ball. That's like what doing a front kick is almost like. So I'm just sitting here like slowly doing techniques on this Bosu ball. And then the only
That's
punches
what we
I'm
have
doing
today.
are...
The Bosu ball?
Yeah.
I'm excited. We love the
I
Bosu.
see a lot of people struggle with it, and all of it is like figuring out where your balance is at. So
holding your core.
if you can figure out where your balance is at and then engage your core, the Bosu ball is way easier than what people
we
make
have
it look
those
like.
today.
One
kinda
day
cool.
we were working out, and they're like, we were doing the presses
Right.
on the Bosu ball, and one of the guys was like, well, how are you good at it? I was like, I just hold my weight in my core. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, just tighten your core when you're up there, and it's not that bad. And he got up there, he's like, this is great.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is my 9 o'clocks, that's what we're doing. And since I'll be in here, that you could actually help the instruction.
Yeah,
on
well,
that.
I'll help
That'd be
them out if
awesome.
they need help. We like stuff like that. Like, our coach is constantly like having us do outside the box techniques, and that's one of the reasons like why we came out here. Is I asked my nutritionist Eddie Raymond, I was like, hey, I need a trainer, because I was still training myself and I was training him.
Yeah.
And it just was too much overlap. You can't be somebody's best friend, girlfriend, trainer.
Yeah, it was a lot for both of us.
It's too much.
I know it's a lot for her trying to be in charge of me, like my workouts, her workouts, and
His food, my food.
Yeah.
It becomes like almost like a nagging, and you're not even meaning to. You're just like, okay, we got to get up. We have this. We have
That
this schedule.
part-
It's hard.
Is that where we got? Is that how we hooked up? Through
Yeah,
Eddie.
Yeah.
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 Eddie said you were the best, and he said like 2 or 3 people that knew MMA that trained people, and I was like, I don't care necessarily if they know MMA. If he knows, I need him to know working out better
Right.
than me.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, I've done this for 10 years, but I don't ever feel like I know anything. I just accumulate knowledge. I don't feel like I know anything.
Some of
That's
the best athletes, I think, out of everybody are football players, especially just the way that their bodies are built, because they have to move like everywhere. They have to move so diverse.
And they do get hit.
in every position they have to move. So when I told her whenever we first started going here, I see you have all these pro football players.
The blue.
You have a lot of pro athletes, period.
on the
but
turf.
I see all these pro football players. I'm like, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Right.
Like when you come in, it's overwhelming because you see all these jerseys on the wall, and I'm like, this is really awesome. Especially, I'm a fan of sports.
Right.
Like
Well, thank you.
I really like I like athletes more than I do teams. So I'm never going to be like, oh, this is my favorite team. I
Right.
like to see a guy who
And I think that's the way it's going now, see?
Yeah.
I do. I really like everybody. Like, I don't know. He made a good point, is he likes athletes more than teams. And I really see, you could ask all the kids on the turf what's their favorite teams. I guarantee you couldn't get, if there's 10 kids out there today at 9. If there is, I don't know Friday.
Yeah.
I think
You
now
wouldn't get
people
3
are,
out of 10 saying a favorite team. They like players
I
or
think
athletes.
people are a lot different
Yep.
now, though. You have to have a team of good individuals to have a good team. You know, you have to have. If
And they don't have that anymore.
If there's 12
It's
guys
gone.
on the field, they all have to number one, they have to hold each other accountable.
Right.
So it's like, you know, if you're slacking on reps, my teammate needs to be like, quit doing that. If you're playing football, we're not going to win the Super Bowl if you're doing that, because
Well, don't
somebody
you
else
find
is
that
doing
both
all
you
of it.
guys that play team sports, now you're an individual sport. I did the same thing. You know, I don't know if you did. I mean, you seem like you did all your team sports. I mean,
team.
granted, you were a stud and, you know, 3 sports in high school. I get that. But I find it helps doing both, because then you really feel like how a team should work. But then it's always like, I have my own responsibilities. And especially in your sport of UFC, it's like you're exposed. There's no timeouts. You can't blame it on anybody else, right?
There kind of is like a team aspect. And it might just be specific to our gym, but I kind of carry everybody with me in there. You know, it's not, it's not just me competing.
Right,
it's like,
right.
I'm doing this for my brothers and sisters. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, there's people who are out here doing the same thing that I do every single day. They have the same goals as me. So it's like, when I go in here, I'm pouring it out, not just for me, but for them.
Right.
You know,
'Cause you represent the gym. You know, there's a lot of people who hate on our gym
Mhm.
because we are a smaller gym. We've had 2 UFC fighters, 1 Bellator fighter now, and a couple of Invicta fighters. That's about as big as it gets.
Mhm.
yeah.
And people still hate on us because we don't have like some lineage that goes straight back to Brazil, and that's not our coach.
We're not like branded either. Like,
We're out here
American
doing our
Top
own
Team
thing.
is like one of the biggest MMA gyms in the country.
Well, how many MMA gyms do we have in Knoxville?
2, really.
Just 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Like us,
So
us and Shield System.
we are-
And who's us? What-
Knoxville Martial Arts
Knoxville
Academy.
Martial Arts Academy.
That's
And then
yours.
there's Shield System, which is out here in Hardin Valley.
Yep.
They're really great too.
Okay.
So that's the 2.
Are those the 2 big
MMA
ones,
gyms.
or the ones
Yeah.
that have been in business the
Yeah, I
longest?
mean, I don't really think there is any other ones in Knoxville.
There's like
There's
jiu-jitsu
like jiu-jitsu
gyms
studios,
or Krav Maga
but there's not
things.
really like MMA gyms.
Got it.
The difference between, I think the difference between our gym and everyone else's is our coach makes each game individually. You'll look at a gym and you'll be like, well, everybody does double legs or everybody does this one kick.
Yeah, there's
And everyone does it. There's not
like
something
a
that
style.
we do.
Yeah,
There's-
we have individual styles, not like a gym style.
And it's
Got it.
It's not
specifically
like
MMA.
we're all wrestlers or all,
I
you know,
got
we're
you.
not all BJJ or
Right.
boxers.
But Eric looks at it like
What's
Can we-
BJJ?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, Brazilian
that's pretty
Jiu-Jitsu.
cool.
Yeah, so
I
it's
was
like
thinking
wrestling
something
but
else.
choking them out. Yeah.
Sign me up.
So the biggest thing is like most people have separate classes.
Got
They'll
it.
have jujitsu and then they'll have striking.
Well, when you
Well, what
mentioned
about when you put it together?
right, so if you mentioned Shield Systems, is it, you know, this thing went out. Now it's back. I could hear myself, but for 10, 12 minutes, I didn't have anything, and now it's back.
Did you touch something?
No, I'm not touching anything at all. But did you hear me the whole time
Yeah.
when I was talking?
Yeah,
to you?
yeah.
I couldn't hear you guys. That's why I was going like this. But now it's back. But hopefully it'll be, if they could hear me, it'll still be able to flow, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So with Shield Systems, are they labeled as jiu-jitsu and not much on? I mean, what are our combat places? We got the Eppolito Boxing Gym, right?
Eppolito, yeah, you have.
That's
Eppolito's
just all boxing.
Just boxing.
Got it.
you have Gracie Baja.
You have Gracie Baja,
Which is
Where's
just
that?
jiu-jitsu
Jiu-jitsu.
in West Knoxville, near like TJ Maxx, sort of.
They're
like Walker
usually
Springs.
like smaller areas. Usually,
So would you
like-
say Knoxville's getting bigger in it, or it's burned out? Or
I
it's-
think there's more people interested in doing it. I don't think that there's necessarily more gyms,
Right.
but I think there's definitely more people that are interested in doing it. But I mean, with any sport, like people think they can do it until they actually try to do it.
right.
MMA, I think, is one of the hardest sports in the world.
Yeah.
Just because not only the physical part, but you have to be good technique wise if you want to go anywhere past like an amateur fighter.
Got
Like
it.
if you want to be a pro fighter and you don't have technique, you're not going anywhere. Plain and simple. Like I know there's a thing called a puncher's chance in every fight. You know, like, oh, this guy's got a puncher's chance. That doesn't exist in MMA. If all you can do is punch anybody in the world can punch. I know 1,000 ways to kill you with my bare hands. I'm probably going to do that. I'm probably going to choke you.
So the components, for boxing, it's hands. So what are the major components
for MMA?
Everything.
Grappling, boxing.
Yeah, grappling, boxing, kickboxing.
I don't like to look at it as individuals.
Yeah.
If I do look at it as individuals, then I have so many more things that I have to be good at than MMA. If I look at MMA as a whole, then I'm just working on my MMA game and not boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu.
But when you watch, because I've bought some of the Conor McGregor, some of the bigger fights. Oh, he's good, but man, if he gets on, he's a good striker. Or Chuck Liddell, he's good up top. I'm just going back from when I watched more.
Chuck Liddell was actually a great wrestler, which is why he could go in and throw these big power shots. Because if somebody tried to take him down, he was just going to stuff him. A lot of people don't know that about Chuck Liddell, but he was actually a great wrestler.
Yeah, that's why he was fine.
That's the whole reason he could have that. That's why they call him the Iceman. That's why he could just look at you and run right at you and just throw these hard punches.
Because if you tied up with him, he wasn't worried about it.
He's not worried about it. Yeah.
But then there's some that are like, oh, that's their weak spot, right?
Yeah, you see people get exposed sometimes too.
Yeah.
I mean, this past weekend in the Bellator fights, our teammate
for
Taylor Turner went and fought in Bellator against Heather Hardy, which is a 22-0 boxer. She TKO'd her in the first round. Yeah, Taylor did. Not because
about 2 minutes into this fight.
So that was the fighter's somebody's chance?
Taylor's just better at MMA.
So Heather Hardy is supposed to be this, world-class boxer.
Which she is.
Which she's never lost in boxing. She's not an MMA fighter, though.
It's completely
Taylor
different.
fights the same weight as this girl, but she's also another person bigger than this girl. Like, she was looking at Taylor's belly button.
Got it.
So you have these people in the same weight class, and all this girl can do can punch, but Taylor can punch, kick, grapple, do whatever.
Yeah.
She made it look easy. And she told, we tell people all the time, it's not easy. We're just prepared.
Right.
So, but Heather Hardy, if she would have punched her, 10 out of 10 times, if they're in a phone booth, Heather Hardy's coming out.
Where'd they fight?
In
Madison Square Garden.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge deal.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap it up. I just want to know when I got to come watch a fight. So when are you guys fighting?
I should be fighting the first Friday in August. We had a offer for late July, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay. And that'd be where?
The late July. Or August. Here in Knoxville. For Valor Fighting Challenge. It's out at Cotton Eye Joe.
Where to go?
I know, Cotton Eye Joe. We're doing first Friday fight nights out there.
Right.
I think Knoxville really loves it because more and more people keep showing up. So we got to be doing something right. We put on 16 to 18 fights every time. I main evented there in April.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you'll be back in August.
Mm-hmm.
All right. See?
I'll probably be back September. So the only reason I'm not fighting this month July would be my next month to fight is because we're going to the beach at the same time the card is.
Got it.
But I stay pretty active. I fight every other month. So
got it.
That's the goal to kind of have.
We're not going to ever fight on the same card,
right? Just
because of us being in a relationship.
Sure.
And it's like the same thing with my brother too. I don't ever fight at the same time as my brother.
Got it. So you could be there.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, family, team, whatever.
All the couples were split. Like we kind of made like a red team and a blue team.
I was going to ask a question. Are there a lot of MMA couples?
Yeah.
Really?
There's like...
It's so hard. I don't think that you could do this sport and not be a part of it.
So you like the actors and actresses, basically. Like, hey, you got to be in the business to understand it.
I mean, sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to really see you or talk to you for
hours.
And I'm going to be grumpy when I'm dieting.
There's just
a lot
so
of
many
people
different
don't
things.
understand the dieting part, man. I wish we had time to talk about that.
We can do part 2. I want to do one. Let's do one a week before your fight. Yeah. Because you guys have.
I don't know if you want to do that if I'm cutting weight because I'm probably worthless. To be completely honest with you,
But she gets a good eye. I didn't see him as much. But like you start getting like
I haven't got to cut weight yet.
I know that's right. The last fight you didn't have to cut weight.
No, I was actually we're trying to like bulk up a little bit now. So
we've kind of used this time knowing that you didn't have to cut weight to try to bulk a little bit.
Yeah,
it's really hard to build muscle and cut weight.
When you guys going to the beach?
July 12th.
Yeah, like the early part of July.
Where are you going?
We're going to Madeira. I'm not sure how to say that word.
Madeira, I think is
Beach.
what it's called.
It's where Treasure Island is.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Where?
Florida.
It's like
I don't know. You don't know the side?
I got nothing.
the eastern part of Florida, I think, or the
It's
western
on the
part of
Gulf.
Florida.
It's like halfway down. If you're looking at the map, it's like halfway down, and there's a barrier island. I like going to the barrier islands because the water is always clearer.
Yeah,
You don't have that little.
we went to one
there.
last year. It was like a state park, and you can just go camp on this island. You know, there's like
Costa.
there's like
It was
nothing there.
Fucking rad.
You literally have this little
It was
shack.
awesome.
Have you guys camped before?
Yeah, that's what we went and did.
Yeah, there was no electricity, nothing.
The bad part about it was we came to Florida in the time of year where it's like this thing called the red tide was there, so the water wasn't clear at all, and there's like this algae. It's like poisonous to not only the plants but the fish. So there was a bunch of dead fish like washing up on the shore, and we didn't really get to fish, which was we were there because we wanted to fish.
It's funny.
It's like it's kind of a bummer. We had to leave a day early because we were like, well, we paid for clear water, number one, but also to fish in like this awesome place. We didn't get to fish. But
I've never I've
the
never
camping
camped.
experience was awesome, man.
So you like tented it out and sleeping bags?
It was like
Well,
a
we-
little,
it was like a hut, is what I
half
would
the
call
size
it.
of this room with like some bunk beds,
Yeah,
like no mattresses or anything. Just
yeah.
but
No fans, no air conditioning.
That's
We,
like,
like, open
no
the
wonder you like the
windows.
wood gym so much. It's so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we're both pretty.
Easy.
Yeah,
Simple.
pretty down to earth.
Simple's fun.
Yeah,
Simple's good.
We'd rather like sit around and hang out and like sit on the beach and fish than like go partying
Clubbing
or
and
something.
stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just not, and it's fine. I mean, like if that's what you want to do,
Sure.
you know,
But that's not your gig.
no.
All right. That was awesome. I mean, I got to know a lot. I love doing these things because when you sit across from somebody, I mean, I've had people that I've had 7 years, like CJ's next, and I've had him 7-8 years, and there'll be things I didn't know. So I love it. Thanks for coming on. Let's do one a week before the fight, and then let's do it after you guys are kicking ass and win, and then go from there.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank
Hey,
you.
you're welcome. Thanks for being a part of it.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.